So does your trading ever feel just kind of out of control where yeah, it's just you're feeling really subject to whatever the markets might hand you and what's the next thing Trump's going to do and stirring up the world or just the markets themselves, it leaving leaving Trump out of it. Yeah, I mean 2025 was a pretty wild year. And if things are feeling kind of out of control, one thing you need to understand that's really super important is that control is really something that you need to address from the get-go. And here's what I'm talking about. And by the way, if you don't know who I am, my name is Brian McAvoy. I run Inside Out Trading. And really, I focus on trader development because you're the most important part of your trading. So I help you become the successful trader that you're capable of. Okay, so as far as control, now you may have heard the wisdom years ago from maybe your parents or a sage or a mentor. But if you're stressing about things, if you're finding things very stressful, and especially if you're feeling at effect to things where you're feeling that, yes, things are out of control, your circumstances are out of control, you're a little bit out of control. Well, one of the first things that you need to recognize is you probably already know this is a reminder. If you haven't heard this before, cool, this will be helpful. But otherwise, this is just a helpful reminder. There's some things you can control and some things you can't. Generally, anything outside of you, you can't control. You can't control other people. You can't control the markets. You can't control the politicians and, the people in the finance world, the bankers, all that kind of stuff. You can't control them. There's no point in stressing over it. Focus on the things that you can control. I mean, heck, I remember back when I was in junior college for a composition class I was in. I had to write a paper and it was on psychology. And the paper that I wrote was Why Worry? And the whole point of it was, yes, recognize that there are some things you can control. If you can control it and you're stressed about it, if you can control it, if you can affect it, then do something about it. Stop ruminating about it and fretting over it and just stressing over the matter and do what you can. Do whatever it is you're capable of doing to affect whatever you're stressing about. And if you can't control it, you just plain have to accept it and say, it is what it is, and I can't do a damn thing about it. So I'm going to control myself and my energy and my focus and say, yes, I can't do anything about that. I can control how I feel about it. I can control whether or not I accept something or still want to try to change it, even though I know I can't. That's when you need to start observing yourself and recognize there's some things you can't control, some you can't. If it's something you can't control, cool, do something about it. And then cool, then you can let it go because you've done what you can. And at that point, if you've done everything that you can, now we're back to, hey, this is something now all I'm left with is things that are beyond my control, so I can just let it go. And that's how you get to that point of stopping stressing. Now, you might have also heard of the term locus of control. And it's also, and this is really important as a trader, because if you have an internal locus of control, that means generally speaking, the way you operate, your general mode of operation is that you understand, yes, you have control over what you can do and your actions, your sphere of influence. And beyond that, you don't. But if you're operating from an internal locus of control, then you're understanding, okay, I can control myself and I can do what I can do. And this is how I'm viewing the world and what's there. If you're operating from an external locus of control, then you're saying my circumstances dictate what happens to me and how I feel and how I respond. And everything that's driving what's going on inside of you is coming from outside of you, hence the term external locus of control. But if you're sitting there saying, no, doesn't matter what goes on around me, I control how I respond, how I react, what things mean to me, what I'm going to allow to bother me. I mean, seriously, if you're sitting and you notice that you're fretting about something and you can just say, well, look, I'm just not going to give this any more of my time. Because if you think about it, every moment you're choosing what to focus on. You're choosing to care about certain things and ignore everything else. And it's a choice that you can make consciously. It's just a matter of taking your power back and saying, okay, yes, I'm not subject to the markets. If I had a bad day yesterday, I can continue to let that bother me and I can stay worked up about it, or I can say, I'm going to choose to not let that bother me anymore. I'm going to focus on right now and the future and what I can control. And that's where I'm going to focus. And even though the facts haven't changed, yesterday was a bad day, I can control what I do today, where I focus my attention, what I give mental energy to and concern and caring and all that kind of stuff. I actually can't control all that. I mean, one thing that always comes to mind when I'm thinking in these terms, there was this one kind of a Zen story, but the guy was being chased by two tigers and they chased him to a cliff and he wound up stepping off. And so he dropped down like maybe 6 feet or whatever, be out of the reach of the tigers and he caught hold of a branch. And so he's sitting there hanging off this cliff, knowing that eventually his grip is going to fail and it's impending doom and he can't climb up because the tigers are sitting there waiting for him. So he's facing his death and he notices a flower on the branch that he's hanging onto. And so in his last moments, even with impending death only moments away, literally, he chooses to focus on the flower and the beauty of it all. And I love that because it's like, even in the worst of circumstances, you can choose what meaning you assign to it, how you feel about it, whether or not you let it bother you, how you actually have control over how things affect you. And so if you choose to take control of yourself and what you react to, what you focus on, what you give energy to, what you're going to do anything about, what you're going to care about, what you're going to let go of, all that, you can consciously choose those things. That's not always easy. I mean, yeah, if you're kind of caught up emotionally in something, it'll take some conscious effort, but it begins with the awareness that you have a choice and then making the decision. Yeah. You may or may not have heard of the Sedona method. I love it. Years ago, I ran across a book, The Sedona Method, and it's all about releasing negative energy. And it's a real simple process. It's just 4 questions. The first thing is, noting that you have to stop resisting something. As long as you're resisting something, you're giving it energy. So the first thing you want to do is stop resisting. And so let's say you're feeling bad about your trading and the way it's been going. Okay, cool. You're feeling kind of crappy about that. Well, rather than fight it and try to suppress it and argue with it, you just say, can I just allow it to be here? And can I be here in this crappy feeling? And I'm just here. And yeah, it feels crappy. And so that's the first step is just allowing it, not resisting it anymore. Go ahead and feel it. But then you say, all right, could I let go of this? Is it possible that I could let go of this crappy feeling? Would I let go of this crappy feeling? When? And it's those 4 questions that make up the Sedona method. Was it Lester Levinson, I think, is the guy that developed that method. But it's really cool and it can be really effective because it's all about allowing yourself to feel the feelings. Don't fight them, don't suppress them, don't wrestle with them. You allow them to be there, you feel them fully, and then you release them and you let them go. And it's a really healthy process. It's kind of like clearing out the junk drawer. So instead of fighting and suppressing everything, you release on negative things. Then you get back to, okay, now I'm choosing what and I mean, that's one way to actively take control of how you're feeling. It's just choosing whether you're going to continue to feel a crappy way or not, or if you're going to let it go. Because if you think about it, no matter how crappy you're feeling, eventually you're going to let it go anyway. Just because, if nothing else, you'll go to sleep, you'll wake up tomorrow, you will have forgotten about it, or at least it will have escaped your attention for a little while. Or else something else will distract you momentarily. And that's fine. So, are you capable of letting it go? Yes. And then the question is, would you let it go? Well, maybe you're just part of you's kind of not really enjoying, but for whatever reason you feel justified in feeling the way you feel. Okay, fine. Could I let it go? Yeah, but maybe in 5 minutes. Right now, I'm just still kind of pissed off. And then the next question is, would you let it go? Could you let it, or could you let it go? Would you let it go? When? And it doesn't matter how you answer the question, it's just ask the question. So that's what prompts your brain to start taking control of how you're feeling about it. And whether you're going to hang on to the feeling and when you're going to let it go. And you just repeat the questions. And it's really cool. It's really effective. So if your trading is feeling out of control, again, sit down, look at the thing, review what's bothering you, recognize what you can control, what you can't. And as far as controlling yourself, you have control over what you do, you have control over where you focus your attention, what meaning you assign to things, whether or not you're going to let them bother you or whether you're going to care. I mean, because at any given time, you can just say, I don't care anymore. I refuse to give it my time, and I'm not going to let yesterday ruin today. I'm going to guard today and how I feel. And this yesterday has to stay in the past. I'm not going to give it the attention anymore. So you can control all these things, and that's awesome. And that's really a good first step in getting control of your trading. Now, the big step in getting control of your trading, so many traders, like a lot of small business owners, never lay out a business plan. And you'd be amazed, even trading, as simple as it is, so many traders, part of the reason you feel out of control is because you haven't put together a plan. You're like, I'm in survival mode. I just want to get profitable. I'm tired of losing money. I'm tired of handing back all my profits. Fine. Hey, I can relate. I've been there, done that. But here's the thing. If you have no plan, if you have no clear objectives, you have no plan on how you're going to achieve those objectives, you have no operating parameters, you haven't kind of laid out the path on how you're going to make things happen. If there's nothing there, your brain has nothing to work with. And so you'll stay in survival mode. So laying out a plan, even if it's very basic, very rudimentary, the plan gives your brain something to work with. It gives it some structure and a direction and something to work toward. And your brain is kind of a problem-solving machine, and it needs direction. It needs some clarity. Now, if you putting together a business plan for your trading seems a little daunting, you're not sure how to do that, I'm doing a free workshop. Links in the description down below. Come join us. It's a free workshop. It's an interactive workshop, and it'll take about an hour, maybe 90 minutes. But what we're going to do is during the workshop, we're going to create your business plan for 2026 for your trading. Cool. And you'll come out of it seriously. It's a working business plan. Now, it's real straightforward. Just swing by InsideOutTrading.com. Links in the description down below. And register, come attend the workshop, put together your business plan, and you'll find one of the cool things about it, the outcome of having a plan. Understand the plan is going to change. It will. No plan for a year in any business comes out 100% according to plan. But you have the plan, so you have the guide. It's going to be course corrections. It's going to change over the year, but at least you have a starting point. Extremely helpful mentally. It is so calming and relieving just knowing that you have a plan, that there is a plan, not hope. And God, I hope, somehow things, if I just keep trading, things will magically turn around. That doesn't work. That keeps you stuck in the stress cycle. Swing by InsideOutTrading.com, use the link below, register for the workshop. You'll be glad you did. It'll be fun. It'll be interactive. At the end of it, we'll have a Q&A where we can talk about trading and I can answer your questions about business plan or other stuff about trading. We'll just take some time to chat. So I look forward to seeing you there. If becoming a better trader, a successful trader, the successful trader that you know you have the potential for, if that's important to you, that's the kind of stuff I make videos about. So go ahead and subscribe to my channel and give it a like down below so that it shares with other traders. And leave me a comment down below if you have any particular questions about the business plan, stuff you'd like you'd like for me to cover in either the workshop or a future video. Let me know in the comments down below. I do read them. And I look forward to seeing you there. Again, I do this because I want you to enjoy trading the way you were looking forward to it when you signed up for trading. And where it's a positive addition to your life, it's giving you that freedom and control over your life that you'd like, the financial security that you want, and the sucky part of it goes away. So that's why I do this. Register for the workshop. We'll see you on the inside. Cheers.